Hey everyone, it's Monday, October 9th, 2017, and it's time to go to work on music. It's been a really good day. I'm in a great place and excited for a productive session. So, gonna hit some online classes, going to update you guys with what I'm doing there. Gonna hit a quick guitar practice, keep that pretty light, and then hit the production front and listen back to some vocal takes I did a couple days ago. Probably listen back to the guitar solo. Maybe give myself another day to just deal with that, and then do some editing on some horn parts. I don't even know if I want these horn parts in the track, honestly. It's a little over the top, but I'm gonna just throw all the stuff in there that I want to be in there, and then I can edit it out later once it's done, because you never know how it's going to sound when you get the drums in there and the groove is, and it's like, oh wow, this is, it's really something. So probably going to do that, and then if I have some time, I'll hit some drum sounds. That's probably not the priority today, though. I just want to get the track rhythm ready so that when I'm ready to track drums in the next couple weeks, that goes smoothly. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any thoughts. See you in a few. All right, that was a really good session. Um, on the shorter side, I think I'm just going to have to accept that on weekdays. Today could have been longer though, but I made hay while the sun shined. I got it on the online class front and moved forward with a little more information about digital goods and a little bit more information about publishing and distribution and royalties and stuff like that, which is probably not a huge stream of income for many independent artists, but everything helps, and that stuff really adds up. If you add that up over 10 years, that can turn into some pretty serious money. So it's definitely worth looking into and getting that set up. From there, I moved to a quick guitar practice, just working on that Rage Against the Machine drop D riff and just keep myself moving forward slowly on the guitar front. Getting a different perspective from Rabia and taking kind of like some beginner level courses, just kind of working on my foundations. I don't think you can ever be too solid on that stuff. And the teaching's good. So I took a short break, did some reading out of the recording secrets for the small studio book. And the main takeaway from from today was there was just a quote from, I think it's Butch Vig, who produced I don't know if he produced all of Nirvana's records or both of them, but he was in the studio with Nirvana at some point, and he said that what they would do is they would, if something didn't work out immediately as far as getting takes went, they just would move on to something else. And he was like, I think that's why the band always sounds fresh, because they were always fresh on the take, literally. So it's it's an interesting idea. It's just something to play with, and the studio psychology, the way you manage sessions, definitely has an impact, because music really, it's just emotion at the end of the day. So the emotion of the performers, the emotion of the moment, that's gonna come through ideally, and that's really what we're looking to do, isn't it? At the end of the day. So that was that was cool, just to get a different, different ideas, little tools to have in the toolkit when you need them. And from there, I moved into the production front. Just did a little bit of editing on the vocal take that I have. I like the take. I think it's really good. I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't do it differently. Maybe do it better. Honestly, I think like a little bit of compression and a little bit of automation, it's probably gonna sound really good. So I'm probably not gonna mess with that too much for now. What I'm gonna probably do is move on to tracking. I tracked the first chorus, or sorry, the first verse, vocals, first pre-chorus, first chorus, and all that sounds very good. There's a couple little moments where I'm like, oh, maybe that pitch could be a little different or something. So I'll play around with that and see where I get. Wasn't if the first bit doesn't stand up to the later bits that I record, then I'll come back and redo it then. I think that'll just be easier, but I think for now, sort of in the spirit of that Nirvana idea I was talking about, maybe just moving forward, keeping my momentum, and just getting some solid takes down everywhere, and then I can go back if I want to fill in anything else out later. But it's probably a good idea to do some preliminary editing on the vocals, try to get them to sound as close as how they're going to sound in the final track as possible before I do the drums, just to make sure the right emotion and the right sonics are in the track, so when I'm getting drum sounds and I'm tracking drums, you know, it sounds how it's supposed to sound, or as close as I can get it realistically. So yeah, I actually tracked the vocals with my open back headphones, my Sennheiser 655s I think is what they are. I will let you know what they are. 650, sorry. And that was great because I can just hear a little bit more than with closed back headphones, and the spill from the track and the click into the mic was like, I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it at all when I listened back on the playback, so not stressed. So that was good. It just let me hear a little bit more, and also like hear more of the tracks. I didn't have to have one can on, one can off kind of thing like I do usually with the closed back headphones, so I can hear my voice in the room, hear my voice in the track at the same time. Like this helped sort of make that a little easier. And yeah, I think my positioning to the mic could have been better, but honestly I think that might just be something I learned to live with over time, because if the emotion's there, like a little bit of automation, you know, that'll solve that pretty much. And you never know what kind of little gems you're going to get out of that too, fading something up 50 dB at the end of a, you know, very end of a phrase or something. People do it all the time. So yeah, I'll let you guys know what I do with that. And then I just did a little bit of editing on the MIDI tracks for the horns, and there are a couple parts that sounded a little too on the grid, like a little too, and I think it's because I was just drawing them in, trying to get the parts down, and so everything started like exactly on the beat, and it just sounded, it didn't quite sound as laid back. It didn't sound as in the pocket as I wanted it to. It just sounded a little too like inhuman, you know? It didn't feel like it had any sauce or any swagger to it, you know? And that's not good. You need that stuff, man. I mean, on a funk tune, what else is there, right? If you don't have that, what do you have in a funk tune? So that was productive, and I just moved things around a little bit, made a huge difference, and that's just so true of grooves and percussion style things. And that's kind of how the horns are operating in this track, is more like a percussion type rhythmic sort of emphasis thing than like a big harmonic pad or something. So it's cool. It's fun to play around with them, and it reminds me of the James Brown axiom, you know, like, what are the horns? They're a drum. What are the guitar? It's a drum. What's the bass? It's a drum. Like, it's all percussion instruments, you know, and talk about the roots of funk right there. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen the James Brown movie, I can't remember what it's called, but it's good. It was very well done in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure they took some liberty. Well, I'm not sure, but they probably took some liberties with the story. But there's some nuggets in there, and you know, it's just if you're into that stuff, I'd recommend it. It's getting kind of long. Sorry. That was pretty much the session. I'm feeling really good about where the track is right now. It was quite helpful to have the vocal take in while I was doing the horn edits, just to feel more of the rhythm of the track, how it's going to sound. And just to have some of the final bits of the track coming together just feels great, you know. It just, I felt like, God, this track has so much potential when I started working on it, and it's really starting to coalesce, and I'm starting to pick up my momentum a little bit as far as finishing things goes. And it just gives me a ton of hope for the rest of this record, that I'm going to have a really solid workflow, and I'm going to have some great experience under my belt, so that I can just track, and write for the next few months, and just bang this thing out and make it really how I want it to be. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any thoughts on anything I've covered in today's video. Hope you guys are out there grinding towards your goals, enjoying the process. That's what I'm out here doing. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Till then.